The story of Abraham, Genesis chapter 12 to 16. It all started when God said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household, to the land I will show you." Then Abraham went where the Lord told him to go, and Lot went with him. Abraham traveled with his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot. Abraham traveled as far as the site of the great tree of Morah and Shechem. From there, Abraham went on toward the hills of Bethel and pitched his tent. There, Abraham built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abraham set out and continued toward the Negev. Abraham went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. Once Sarai entered Egypt, she was a beautiful woman, and when the Pharaoh saw her, they praised her. The Lord was unpleasant on Pharaoh's household because of Abraham's wife Sarai, so they summoned Abram. Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and his belongings. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while everyone lived near Sodom. People of Sodom were evil and started to sin against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after people started to sin to him, "Look around you, and all the land that you see I will give you." Abram went to live to the nearest tree of Mamre and Hebron, and there he pitched his tent and made another altar for the Lord. At the time, Amraphel was king of Shinar, Arioch king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of Goyim. Two of these kings went to war against Bera king of Sodom, Bersha king of Gomorrah, Shinab king of Admah, Shinambra king of Zembaim, and the king of Bela. For 12 years they had been subject to Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. The four kings suddenly took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food. Then they went away. They also took Abram's belongings. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the woman and the other people. After Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, he was a priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram. Lord came to Abram, "This man shall not be your heir. No one but your very own as she shall be your heir." He brought him outside and said, "Look toward heaven and count the stars, and tell me if you are able to count them." Then Abram asked, "Sovereign Lord, how can I know that I can gain possession of it?" And so the Lord said to him, "Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram. Each of them are supposed to be 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon." As the sun started to set, Abram fell into a deep sleep and darkness came over him. God told Abram, "Know for certain that for 100 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there." Then God said to him, "I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age." Now Sarai and Abram had borne no child, and then she said to Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having a child. Go to sleep with my slave, perhaps you can build a family through her." Abram agreed to what Sarai said, and so after Abram stayed in the Canaan 10 years, Sarai his wife took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. When she knew that she is going through pregnancy, she began to despise that she is mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. "Do with her whatever you think best." Then Sarah mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was a spring that is beside the road to Shur. "Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai," she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much that they will be able to count it numerously." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery." Then the angel said, "He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." So Hagar bore Abraham a son,
And Abram gave the name Ismail to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ismail. So you might be wondering, what is the message of the story and how did God challenge them? Well, God challenged them by making them travel across the desert and find land for Abram/Abraham and Sarah/Sarai and his brothers. God also challenged them by making them have to have two babies, one named Ismail and the other one named Isaac, because they were so old. So you might be wondering, what is the significance of the story? Well, the significance of the story is God wanted to make Abraham go to land that God created for him, and to make Hagar his wife make a baby with him named Ismail. And then later wanted him to make a baby with Sarai named Isaac. Then he said, I will make an agreement with them, and I will bless him with lots of land. And as your other son, Ismail, I will bless him too, and from him will come 12 great princes. But my agreement with Isaac, Abraham was too old at this time, and he said, how can I even give birth to a child when I'm so old? The three messengers came and told Abraham that he had to born a child named Isaac. After Isaac was born, it was a miracle. So the real life application of this story. Well, if God will ever promise us something, He would always try His best to do it. No matter what happens, He will never break a promise. Anything is possible for the Lord.